Pickacard. What do people secretly admire about you but won't say? Here are your options, and I'll see what you're reading.
Okay.
Hi friends, my name is Griselle with Toughdolltarot, and I'm here to do your reading. Pile number 1, what do people secretly admire about you but won't say? Well, I definitely feel like you are a character. Something about you appears to be very compelling, mysterious, and yes, magnetizing for everybody. I feel like you could be somebody who likes anime or something about that kind of a world, maybe even cosplay or even steampunk or Victorian something or other. I don't know, but I too am riveted by you. Pile number 1. I feel like you're very intelligent, and that comes across as well. And you could have some war wounds that are visible. Join me for your reading in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I hope that you find something that is helpful, or at the very least, something that is interesting, amusing, all the things. There we go. For those of you guys that are indeed my repeat offenders, I am so grateful to have you. Thank you guys for your patience, your suggestions. Yeah, that's about it. Let's just jump right on in. What do people secretly admire about you but won't say? Pile number 1. This was a jumper. So you have, oh my gosh, the Empress. People admire how you are fierce, focused, undeterred, determined. They admire how you are regal, how you carry yourself with a sense of regality that you don't have to explain to anyone else, that you don't have to justify anything. Let's see what else we have right here. Pile number 1. You have the 6 of Cups. I feel like also what people secretly admire about you but won't say is that maybe perhaps you have a really good reputation. You have really good memories with people from your past. So I feel like you're not one of those people like a tornado where you left just a slew of people behind in a tornado, in a whirlwind. And I'm getting, I don't know why, but I'm getting also that maybe perhaps you haven't had the best past or the easiest, let's say the easiest, but that you didn't really entangle everybody. You're not that person that you went through, let's say, a rug problem, right? And you entangled everybody and their mom and dad and cousins into it. And then you wound up like selling all of their stuff. That's not you. If you did have that past, I feel like you handled it with grace. You handled it on a one-to-one. Not to say that you didn't make mistakes and things like that, but that you handled your business, you didn't entangle other people. Now, another thing that people admire about you but won't say is your ability to like reflect, your ability to really harness energy that is precious and loving and even delicate at times. And you're able to harness those energies and bring it into your future. What people secretly admire about you but won't say is that you have an incredible emotional depth to you, that you have an ability to look at even a glass of water and you can read it. I actually saw, and I wish I would have thought about it myself, but it was not my brainchild. It was a reel or something, who knows? I mean, of sorts. And this husband had drank a cup of tea and he put it down. And he got up, and right away his wife picked it up and started tea leaf reading, and she was just brilliant. She was like, blah, 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 you know, and this and that, and she just basically read him the rights. So I feel like you have this ability to read people their rights that you know instinctively, but it's not in a waspish, like angry way. I feel like you could be very gentle about it. But you are known for knowing things. Okay, you are like a secret keeper. And again, you have been all of the queens, all the versions of the court cards, right? And you've risen to the top. People secretly admire about you, but won't say. Let's see what else we have on the board here, because we're 3 minutes into it and only 2 cards. 10 of Wands. You know, your burden has not been light. Your burden has not been easy. I'm hearing, speak softly, but I carry a strong stick. So maybe perhaps you are somebody who you were known for literally being soft-spoken or being someone that doesn't necessarily have to be like the loudest one in the group. I personally get really turned off by somebody who's kind of yelling or trying to attention get with their voice. It drives me crazy. But all of us are different, right? And I feel like you are known for somebody who's being very soft spoken, but when you do speak, that people turn and look to you. Like your voice carries authority. Also, what people secretly admire about you and won't say is that you have this ability to move on. This is giving me a little bit of like the Eight of Cups energy, that you're walking away from things. And perhaps people, what they admire about you but won't say is that they admire this ability of you carrying the burdens to the point where you're like, you know what, I cry uncle, this is not healthy for me. And I realize that maybe perhaps by carrying all these burdens, other people's burdens, that's the implication with the Ten of Wands anyways, is that maybe perhaps you realize that you've impeded the journey of other people, because we do weaken them when we take on those burdens, when we take on responsibilities that in the end are really not your own. It's going to be very important that we step aside and say, you know what, those are actually your burdens, or they are your choices, and I'm not picking up that wand, that staff, that burden, whatever, right? And throughout your life's journey, I feel like people realize that this is something very beautiful, very powerful. And when questioned, because I get this staff and I'm looking at that, and if questioned, I feel, not when, but if, right? I feel like you have the great ability of opening up a can of whip. So I'm just saying it like that, right? And I actually am going to have to check these closed captioning, because I'm really trying to transfer everything over, and slowly, I did mention that, in order for everybody to be able to view and read if they prefer not to listen, or if they are hearing impaired, or for whatever reason, right? Whatever private reason they should want to or need to. I want that available for everyone. We are here for the masses to enjoy optimistically. So thank you again for mentioning that if you are viewing this at this point in time. Pile number 1. What do people secretly admire about you but won't say? These are my wild cards. And actually, if you're liking these kind of readings, please do take a moment to like, share, comment, subscribe. I would really appreciate that. Obviously, I'm trying to grow my channel. And let's see what we have here. Oh my gosh. You are regarded highly and respected, often pedestal, but not necessarily aware of these things. Yeah. So I feel like you have a great reputation among your community, among your work community, your town, whatever this is. And definitely among the past, like people have fond memories of you. I don't think that there's many people who recollect you with, I don't know, with anything but like grace and with harmony and with effort. And even like, I feel like people could have seen you bloom through a lot of hardship, but you've done it magnificently. This reminds me actually of a shirt that I bought. And it's all dark and it's woodsy, and there are all these like subtle blooms in there. And I feel like you have had, yeah, very much. Okay. Like the Empress, I always get like, this is birthing something in secret. This is being hard pressed. It's similar to being like a clamshell or an oyster in the middle of, right? An ocean or body of water, if it's artificially grown, I don't know. And you are like hard pressed, and there's a constant irritant, right? A grain of sand or whatever, in order to really chemically change the inside of that oyster, that little creature. I feel like that's been you, and people have seen you evolve. People have seen you grow, but you're still hidden. You are still kind of, I want to say, bobbing and weaving in the shadows, a little bit secretive. I don't know. And maybe because you're unburdening yourself from a lot more than what people quite understand. Let's see where this goes. Blinded by mirrors, enthralled with their own reflection. So pile number 1, I feel like you could be a reflection, a reflective source to other people. I feel like you could be a source, an irritant, if you will, for people that, yes, they've undergone hardships, but they've made excuses. They've undergone hardships, but have chosen not to bloom. They've chosen to dump their burdens upon other people. They have not withdrawn and really woven themselves and reparented themselves into, I want to say, the secret places, the sacred spaces, okay? For my men listening, please bear with me, because I do mean you as well. I feel like, keep in mind that these are generous metaphors that come up with me when I'm channeling. And so, this is anybody who is working out in the dark. This is anybody trying to do the 9 to 5, provide for a family and the best way you can. This is anybody who has risen and gotten up and commuted 2 hours, or maybe even walked, like, let's say 3 miles in the snow, and then had to get on a bus and do another 2-hour commute and then reverse it on the way home. This is anybody who has risen to sacrifice and picked up overtime jobs and done the most to really provide for their family. And that's you. And I feel like you provide this mirror. This mirror of recognition upon other people who have not done the work, who have not self-sacrificed. I'm not here advocating for martyrdom, by the way. So if you are in that energy, and I feel like you have been, by the way, I feel like you are dropping those wands of like, okay, give it to me, I can handle it. Give it to me, I can handle it, to a point where you bust your ankle, you bust your knees, you bust your wrists, and it doesn't make any sense at all. And people continue, they're like, oh, okay, well, we're just going to bring it to you because you said, yeah, but that was in 1984. When I said, bring it to me, I can handle this. So I feel like it's almost like you're a candy. You're being unraveled. Yeah, that's what it is that you are still working on self in a powerful way, in a way that is unexpected, in a way that this is your greatest comeback story. And I feel like what people secretly admire about you but won't say is that they know, they're holding their breath with bated breath. They're waiting for the next revelation. Interesting. But that mirror is strong. I kid you not. Pile number 1. What do people secretly admire about thee but won't say? Pet. Aw. Not me getting emotional. For those of you who don't know, I did lose my dog in August. Yeah. So here we go. Loyalty, companionship, and purity. So, one moment. All right. Had to pause there because obviously got quite emotional. Maybe I'll be taking out all the animals from all my decks. Like, we're going to put them in a pile until we're sufficiently healed and purged enough emotion to be able to deal with it. But until then, here we go. So, yeah, I definitely feel like what people admire about you but won't say is your loyalty, is your companionship and purity. And it says true loyalty is by your side. Don't expect too much from others. And this goes to state everything that it's reiterating everything that we just read about. It's talking about how you've been self-sufficient, how you've been, in a lot of ways, you've had to promote yourself because nobody else is gonna, right? Listen, if you're not your best friend, nobody else is gonna be your best friend. These people will take advantage of you. They'll exploit you and they will use you to the breaking point, and that is no lie. Okay, so pile number 1, what do people secretly admire about you but won't say is how you are loyal to your cause, to your devotion, to your development. You're loyal to whatever creation you're bringing forward, and that your crown chakra is wide open. Pile number 1, you have book with prophecy, guidance, and action. Recent readings hold a message. Execute quickly to achieve goals. Wow. So maybe this is talking about maybe some of you guys, not all, but this reading, and maybe you're gleaning something that's to be executed quickly in order to really, oh, hi squirrel, in order to remove these albatrosses or obstacles or these things that are weighing you down, right? These responsibilities that are actually not yours. That could be one way to read it. Another way is that you've actually read something that has inspired you, that is meant to prompt you, that is meant to develop you, that is meant to be a segue into your next chapter. And what people secretly admire about you but won't say is your charisma. You have a lot of riz. Maybe you came from that reading I did a little while ago. Also, that you have this ability to remain humble. Rocking chair. Wow. Zoom in. Here we go. Back and forth. Stuck. Sway. Trust your gut and act. Don't let fear keep you rocking. This is an instance where rocking is not good, right? I wanna rock. Okay. Moving on. Pile number 1. What people secretly admire about you but won't say is that maybe they've seen you in a stalemate. They've seen you in a conundrum. I don't know. Listen, I got a comment one time about I can't handle the way you talk. And I'm like, I get it. Blessings to you. Keep it pushing. No worries. But I get it. Listen, these words come to my brain. It's going to take a lot more effort for me to channel and interpret things in a way that isn't, I don't know, natural. It's going to take longer. I'm not doing it. That's all. End of story. you you get what you get, okay? So pile number one, what do people admire about you but won't say is the fact that you have maybe that you are book learned also, and that you are loyal, that you are soft actually on the inside, and that you really weigh things out before you make moves. You're not one to make any sudden moves. You are a little bit of like a quintessential hunter when it comes down to being able to like develop self, motivate self, and launch new things, maybe, perhaps, right? I'm going to pull two more cards simply because I'm feeling it. So I hope you are too. Pile number one, what do people secretly admire about you but won't say? And I'm hearing that a lot of you guys want to come here for like physical affirmations. The King of Cups. People... I gotta take my glasses off with this one. Listen, people secretly admire about you but won't say is the fact that like a lot of people have... is this clear? I took off my glasses. Hello. A lot of people have a desire to get to know you, or they like bring you cups, right? Cups is like emotion. They have a lot of emotion towards you, but look at you. You're like, I'm going to give my back to you. The heck with that. And you force people to like keep it pushing, to move it on. You can't be bought. You cannot be bought. Your affections cannot be bought. That you are solid within yourself. That people need to come right. If you're the underdog, and I feel like many of you are, I feel like you've been highly underestimated, right? People feel like they secretly admire about you, but won't say is how you're not a sellout. How you put people in their place. You could be a little bit spicy in spite of like all this gentle energy. And I do feel like you have a lot of people actually like watching you, viewing you some way, somehow, or even thinking about you from way back when, right? Back to the Six of Cups right here. But they've seen you overcome all these obstacles and challenges, and how you are true to the clue. I'm just kidding. True to self. All right, here we go. Look. The Lovers. This is a very interesting interpretation. This is a crybaby. Wait, stop it. Crybaby Tarot, okay? Gosh, I feel like that's what I've been doing on here. Crybaby. But look how cute this deck is, you guys. Get you this tarot deck if you're into stuff like that. But look here. So what people secretly admire about you but won't say is your ability to pull close. It's your ability to pull people into the present. This person even appears to not be of this world. This appears to be like somebody from the past, or somebody that has crossed over. You could have like a little bit of a love for wounded bird syndrome with a 555. I do feel like with that number I'm coming on right now, and I happen to look down, is the fact that you have changed that within yourself, but people know this about you and they love this about you. Now, with that being said, is yours is a little bit different in that you're willing to love people where they're at, even with wounded bird syndrome, but you're not willing to fix, and it's not your responsibility. It's that you're willing to help, you're willing to mentor, you're willing to guide, you're willing to encourage, you're willing to be a cheerleader. But pile number one, you're not willing to pick up the slack for other people that refuse to do the work themselves. So that's what I have for you. Much, much love. Until next time, namaste. Hi friends, my name is Griselle with Toughdolltarot. I'm here to do your reading. What do people secretly admire about you but won't say? Well, you are a baddie. I don't care if you don't consider yourself one. I feel like other people see that you are a baddie. You could be a scrapper. You could have a past, a history. But I feel like nobody would dare really tangle with you if they knew what you're about. But you're incredibly soft on the outside as far as like approachability and beauty. So if this sounds interesting, join me for your reading in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I hope that you find something that's helpful or encouraging. And for those of you guys that are indeed my repeat offenders, I am ever so grateful. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your likes, comments, shares, subscribes, all of the things. I appreciate your orders for readings and so on. and so on and so forth. Now, pile number 2, you guys had me a little bit in a chokehold because all of a sudden when I'm like shuffling and trying to arrange things, I'm like, oh, this doesn't matter. This needs to be more that way. This needs to be, oh, this isn't facing this. What kind of perfectionist A-type people are you? Because that is not necessarily my personality at all. But let's see. So I feel like there's something about you that is very perfectionistic. Hello, that was really hard to say. Yeah, you could be you could be perfect. And I'm laughing because I'm stuttering. I feel like maybe you have this quality about you that makes other people stutter. They make people feel a little bit less than. Like when I was arranging my cards, I'm like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my God, you know, that kind of a thing. And it's like, woo, let's calm the energy down just a little so I can get through this. So what do people secretly admire about you but won't say is your feeling for law and order, for balance, for symmetry. But let's see where else this goes. You intimidate people, by the way. The hierophant, I'm all the hierarchy. Hierophant. I feel like people get their flabbergasted. Okay, like they get flabbergasted a little bit. They don't even know. They can't even speak when they're around you. But with a Hierophant, you can belong to some kind of like, I don't know, some kind of official position, I'm getting like building or edificio. No, that's not even the word. Entity. Okay. This is like working for the law, working for a government facility. This is working for a hospital. This is something like official, super official. And something about you feels official. Okay. So pile number 2, let's see what else we have. What do people secretly admire about you but won't say is a fool? Yeah, how you have this ability to travel lightly. One moment, please. To be able to even maybe like take risks that are like calculated and that appear a little bit chaotic. Maybe you're the one that jumps into the fray if there's a crisis. Maybe you guys are like first responders. Maybe you work in some kind of like ER healthcare, or you do the intake for that. I don't know your life. You know, you could be nurses, you could be doctors, you could be EMTs, you could be firefighters, you could be, you know, dispatchers. I don't know your life again. But something about you that when there's a crisis, people are going to look to you for guidance. If you use your voice at all, if you go, hey, you know, people are going to listen, stand in attention, and they're going to trust your direction. I'm hearing your derivative. Okay, let's see where else this goes. Because I feel like with the Hierophant right here, this is a connection to spirituality as well. So you're very connected to spirit. But most of you guys, I feel like for 90% of you guys, this has a lot to do with like the 3D, your earthly position or your authority. Like you possess high authority and honor among your people. I don't know why. It's like people want to like even appear greater than when they're with you. They want to appear smarter. They want to appear like they don't want to be found lacking, right? They want to be wearing their best shoes. They want to make sure that they're polished. There's no scuffs on them, that they be looking good, that kind of a thing. The Knight of Wands. I really hate this font. No shade on. I love this deck as well, but it looks like Knighty of Wands. I don't know. But anyways, it's the Knight of Wands. Hello. Now with this right here, I'm seeing a quill. Okay, it's a quill made up of like leaves or whatever fantasy, whatever fantasia is going on here. Now, I feel like you're incredibly tough. You could be incredibly tough. Wow. And this looks to me like a rose. So maybe you're incredibly like poetic. You have a lot of high authority. But what people don't really understand till maybe perhaps they read your email or they read maybe you wrote a book on poetry, or maybe you're a writer like on the side, and that's a side gig. Or maybe perhaps you compose like these things, these modules is what I'm getting. And like you're a technical writer, but something about it is very flowing, a little bit flower-esque. If that's a word. I'm hearing the word Baroque also. Leaf. What is that leaf? Some of you guys are super fancy, like the Baroque. That is kind of like a style, a fashion style, right? You can look it up. I don't know how to explain it effectively, but I feel like you're detail oriented, very polished, very high honor, very old agey, old timey. That kind of a vibe to you, and that's why you have so much weight, and so much sway in your community. I feel, and anybody who meets you actually can tell this, although they're not going to utilize those words initially. Um, but something about you feels very like, okay, come at me, bro, and I know how to handle myself, that kind of a thing. So you're not one to mess with. You're not one to be preyed upon or played upon. But inside, maybe perhaps you have journals that look like this, that are like little wispy, or maybe you are great with calligraphy, with the spoken word, with the written word. Maybe you on the side are a lyricist, or you're somebody who has I don't know, great vocals. Maybe what people don't know, that you're in some kind of a choir thing. Maybe perhaps there's something about you that is expressive and very knight in shining armor. It's giving rescuer, but I'm not going to tell you I'm a damn rescuer, because you better rescue yourself. And if you're in a pinch, I'm going to grab you by the shirt and we're out of that fire like ASAP, that kind of a thing. Anyways, something about like this, it's not hot and cold, but it's very tempered. It's very beautiful, actually. Compelling a little bit. Like it's a little bit intimidating, a lot of bit intimidating, but a little bit like, I feel people get turned on by you. Okay. You're the one that you have like these really clear boundaries, clear expectations, clear directions. And yet people get like, ooh, that was kind of hot. Moving on. These are my wild cards. And I mean, this reading's already a little bit on the wild side, but let's see what happens. Pile number 2. What do people secretly admire about you but won't say? Pretty privilege at play. So people think that maybe you have pretty privilege, whether you're, guy or girl, doesn't make a difference. I have seen a lot of pretty privileged people that are handsome, that can wave that wattage beautiful smile, that handsome smile, or they can flex those, pecs or whatever it is, or you have great hair. I feel like you do. I feel like aesthetically you are hitting and firing on all cylinders, but I don't feel like you utilize that to manipulate. I don't think that you look at people and flash a smile in order to like disable people, debilitate them, cause them to just really stand back in shock. Because I mean, that's happened to me. I go, wow, like that person really looked at me and gave me that big old smile. What does that mean? Or I remember one time in a meeting, somebody like winked at me and I was like, whoa, what just happened? And I felt all sorts of special for like 2 minutes. And then I realized that, that might be a little bit of a pretty privileged thing. I don't feel like you're one to do that. Okay. But people would expect you to do that. Why? Because they themselves are for low morale and they would do that. That was a judgment call. Yes, it was. Sorry. Moving on. I guess I don't approve of that behavior, but do you? Moving on. Relationship attachment style: fearful, avoidant, fear, rejection, trust issues, unable to rely on others, low self-esteem. I feel like this is people that are on looking towards you. And what people admire about you is that maybe you perhaps can spot that and you help build their self-esteem. Maybe perhaps also that you have all this like softness behind the tough facade because you have been toyed with, you have been played with. Perhaps your love wasn't reciprocal. It wasn't reciprocated. Maybe perhaps people did take advantage of you because not only are you beautiful, handsome, pretty, whatever you want to call it, aesthetically fine. Okay, I said it. But I feel like that could have been exploited once upon a time, and you're not that person. But on the inside, once you get through all those layers, those barriers, I don't want to say jumping through hoops, but you're somebody that you're like, okay, prove it. You're a good person. You know what? I feel like you're very much like me. Anybody who has to say they're a good person, I'm like, you're not. You're not. How do I know that? Because I don't consider myself a good person and I feel like I have pretty high ethics and morals and values, but I don't think I'm a good person. I mean, pretty is as pretty does in the eye of who? Of the beholder, right? And so therefore, I feel like anybody who's telling you, I'm a good person, you're going to be like, we'll see about that. I'll be the judge of that. And your red flag is right up there. But Look at me pulling my hair out for you. Okay, listen. Pile number 2, I definitely feel like what people secretly admire about you but won't say is how you fluster people. Okay? I feel like those people that know you super well, and they're few and far between, can be at ease. I get like, even during courtship, even during like dating, during whatever, they have high expectation of you. And yeah, I don't know. Let's go for some more wild cards. Why don't we? Shall we? Okay. I miss talking with you. I miss our jokes. I made a mistake. This isn't an overused. Oh, isn't this an overused trope? Yeah. So you could have a lot of people also from the past who misjudge you. And that goes into saying, you know, this softness that I feel from you, this, I don't know, flower-esque. That is not a word, but it is officially in the book of Toughdolltarot. Okay. That dictionary is coming out sometime soon. Whatever. What do people secretly admire about you but won't say? You have people that have deep regret. They're in deep regret, but who cares? Like, whatever. Whatever the flavor's out there, enjoy it. Suck it up, buttercup. You've made your choices. I feel like that is you. You have that full armor stating, you know what? I'm not even playing with you. I'm here for the new. I'm here for the real. And I'm here for the transparency of things. Why? Because you are transparent as well. And also, I'm noticing like this star right on top of this knight's head. So something about like you have a higher mind. Yeah, you possess a higher mind. And you don't corrupt it with like lower wasteful energy. I feel like the days of like maybe going out and binge drinking and like hoeing around. Can I say that? You guys of polite culture do forgive, but I had to kind of get in there in the nitty gritty and dirty because this is about what do people secretly admire about you but won't say. Yeah, I feel like maybe I'm hearing your comrades, the blokes. I don't even know. Maybe people from the UK are watching, or maybe from Russia, or from, I don't know, all the places that I can't even think about right now. Maybe from different places, you know, because like in the Aussies say, well, good enough, mate. That was horrible. I'm sorry. But you get the point. They like call each other mate and stuff like that. So maybe perhaps this is you in some way, fashion. Like you attract a lot of people, a lot of different kind of people. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of international attention for you. Moving on. You're like Omar Adavi. I could totally see that. Known as the animal magnet man. Sharks, fish, all aquatic life responds to his frequency. Now, you know, I couldn't help but I saw this thing on like Omar Adavi recently, and it was something about like he saves a whale. He saw somebody who was in distress or felt the energy or something, and he stumbled upon like this creature. I don't remember if it's exactly a whale, but I feel like it was. And it was in distress. And so he called in like reinforcements in order to help it. And lo and behold, this person that came to assist, quote, help, whatever, wound up exploiting that creature and took the animal. And as far as I know, and I could be wrong about this, but as far as I know, it is in captivity right now. And so I feel like you're very careful. You are fully aware of what people are capable of. Why? Because you perhaps have been exploited to the max as well. And I feel like that's why you're on to people. But your frequency definitely is like large and broad. I feel like you are maybe the villain in people's stories sometimes. I also feel, pile number 2, that you could be seen as a savior. Like with that harsh tempered, you know what, I got this, I got you, let's go, that sort of thing. People know that if they're in trouble, that you got their back 1000%. Yeah, you're not one to be trifled with. Yeah, but something about like you reserve this softness, this grace, if you will, or the way that you would naturally talk to someone with big affection. I feel like that's highly tempered. And why is that? It's because of maybe past abuse or past usage, or like a love that took you for a ride or something like that. But I feel like you've learned that lesson, and maybe you're learning how to balance things out with this card right here. Moving on. Pile number 2, if you're liking these kind of readings, please do give me a like, share, comment, subscribe. I would really be so appreciative if you would. Moving on. What the devil, people? Oh, you are a sexy mofo is what I am hearing. There is a lot of softness underneath all of this like hard exterior, tough exterior. And it's not like you're like pretending or you're, but you're like, I have strong boundaries and you're going to have to like work to get through those. So if you're here to work, roll up your sleeve. If you're a pansy, keep it pushing. That kind of vibe is what I'm getting. People get addicted to your energy. People get riveted, right? Ace, oh my gosh. Ace of Wands, yeah. I feel like you were like hot. You're a hot topic, okay? Maybe like hot topic, but I love hot topic. Don't judge me. Demographic, schmemographic. I don't care. I'll shop wherever the heck I want. Listen, pile number 2. I feel like you could be quite a surprise for people. And again, with this Omar Adavi and this frequency thing, people from all over the world want to come towards you, but only few are selected. Very few are selected. Okay. What do people admire about you but won't say? Vase, la vase, vessel growth and bloom. New opportunity will soon fill your life with vibrant possibility. Hell yeah. Hell to the yeah. Hell yeah. Okay. You can be very different. Again, something about your voice, something about speech, something about your communication, even typing. Maybe you're one of those also that you have ASMR. I'm getting. Oh, hi, little bird that walks up trees again. Hi, if that's what your new name is, because I can never remember your name. Maybe you are somebody who is very in tune with nature. But you have no opportunities coming, and people, what they secretly admire about you but won't say is your transformation. Like, you are not the same person. Not at all. Owl. Yes, I'm all strangling the owl. Owl. I saw the owl while I was channeling in pile number 1, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. Hopefully I did. Uninvited change, arrival. The arrival of uninvited guests will alter your plan. What? Hell no. You go home then. You go back home. No invitation, no staycation. Yeah. So maybe you're somebody who is very protective of your place, of your like home, of your environment, whatever. And it's like by invite only. And those that get invited, it's like you get 3 envelopes a year. And the anticipation is killing people. My loneliness is killing me. Interesting. Maybe people are lonely for you. Street lamp, clarity, inspiration, shine. You'll find the guidance you need to solve your mystery soon. I love these cards. These are brand new. In fact, that's the first time I've cracked them open for any reading outside of as a tester for myself. But yeah, you have a lot of things coming up. And what people admire about you but won't say is the opportunities that you have, is how doors open for you, is how red carpets. Oh my gosh, look at what I've done to this. Kind of like a brute. I'm all. The way that the way flowers get thrown up on stage for you. How is that possible? I feel like something about you is being highly applauded. And I feel like this is attached to maybe your ancestors, but I feel like your family as well are like secretly applauding you. Why would this be secret admiration? I don't know. But a lot of people are like stingy with their compliments, right? A lot of people don't want to give. And I feel like it's kind of foolish, but whatever. Also, what people secretly admire about you but won't say is your ability to kind of like work with the subtle realms. All right. Take that however you will. I feel like you could be an empath. I feel like you can read a room. You can pull up this defense. I feel like this has like a button, a little bit of like, what is that one superhero? Morton Downey Jr. Is that who played it? Yeah, that you hit a button and all of a sudden the whole armor goes all the way up and soon. I think there are a lot of those actually. But anyways, I digress. Yeah, but special invitation only. And people are excited. It's like if they get invited to your place of residence, if they get invited to, yeah, this is almost like the last rose, a final rose. Is that what they call it? Where it's a dating show. 10 out of 10 do not recommend. It's a lot of trash. I'm like, how are you betting and then shedding any responsibility? And then all of a sudden it's like you're all in love with one person. I don't know. It's gross to me. So I've watched a few episodes, but then I'm not here for the drama and trauma. It's a turn off for me. But maybe perhaps people see you as like the final rose. Who are you going to give the final rose to? So this pile could be single. You guys could be difficult to catch. Difficult. Yeah, people have made mistakes with you, and I feel like they get one chance. You get one shot. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. Okay, Eminem. So that's all I've got for you. Let me know what y'all think about this. I mean, you're definitely hot. There's no, what happened? Okay, lights are out. Okay, much love. Namaste.
Okay.
Hi friends, my name is Grisel with Toughdolltarot, and I'm here to do your reading. Pile number 3, what do people secretly admire about thee but won't say? Well, I'll tell you right now, I think that you are incredibly direct, to the point, not one to be trifled with. I think this is a little bit of a trend with those of you on my channel frequently, by the way. I also feel like you could have unconventional hair. I feel like your aesthetics, you're willing to take a risk and lead. Not even taking a risk, you're setting the trend. And not even a trend, you just don't care. You do what you do because you enjoy it, because you like it, and that's it. That's all you got to say about that. So if this is you, or if this sounds intriguing, go ahead and join me for your reading in 3. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I hope that you find something that is helpful or encouraging. And for those of you guys that are indeed my repeat offenders, I'm ever so grateful to have you. Thank you so much for being here, for all your love, your support, your donations, which are very appreciated. Pile number 3. What do people secretly admire about you but won't say? So the other 2 piles were intense. Let's see what happens here. By the way, I call it a tree show. So when I was shuffling your cards, I had one of the trees just let loose a whole bunch of leaves, but it was like majestic, slowly falling to the ground. And it was a show I would think was just for me, by the way. So I feel like there's something not performative about you, but something very graceful, something that maybe people feel incredibly intimate with you because of. I know it's kind of odd to say, but let's see what happens here. What do people secretly admire about you but won't say? Pile number 3, the 2 of Wands. The way that you have options, the way that you weigh things out, the way that you consider your options. I feel like you're not one to be like, excuse me, you're not one to be like, shiny, let me jump, let me run, let me bob and weave. Nay. I definitely feel like you're that kind of person that you weigh things out and you figure out which is the option that's going to be the most lucrative, the most beneficial, and the most helpful. But I feel like you do this not only just for yourself, but also for mankind somehow, okay? Well, I'm getting the world. Yeah, the world back here. So let's see what else we have here. Pile number 3, Page of Cups, the way that you have this ability to see things with new eyes, right? With the Page of Cups, traditionally, this is a page that holds like that cup of water and there's a fish coming out. But in this case, it is a bird fish. I don't know what that is, but it is so cute. And I feel like he's looking at the bird, not surprised at all, right? And so I feel like you are somebody who who's incredibly empathetic, who is maybe even perhaps a little bit of a dreamer. You could be somebody who likes to draw, you like to doodle, you like to, however it is that you create, it seems like you can go into a trance, like similar to what I do. And you're able to like channel information. So if you're the creative type, I definitely feel like what people secretly admire about you but won't say are your creative methods. I don't know, your creative process. Yeah, there you go. So it's a way that you bring about your creative process. And I feel like maybe once upon a time you were somebody who didn't have a lot of resources, but you bring about those creative processes in a very natural way. You don't need a lot to give a lot, to make a lot, to do a lot, right? You're incredibly resourceful. Now, I don't know why that guy is on his roof in the warehouse, and it's kind of annoying me because I don't have any curtains, and you know, it's one of those things. Uncomfortable. But we're going to keep it pushing here. What else do we have? Yeah, maybe you are somebody that they have to like climb great things in order to get a glimpse into your life, or a glimpse into your creations, a glimpse into what your options are. You could be somebody that is, in spite of having like this emotional, like reciprocal energy, you're also very guarded, very self-protective. Moving on. Ace of Wands. What? What do people secretly admire about you but won't say? Is your fire, your passion, your inspiration. Yeah, your ability. It's like, how do I integrate these two things? Perhaps even it's that. How do I make a third thing out of this one thing? And I have this possibility. Is there a way to merge them? Is there a way to kind of tweak them to be a little bit less of a niche and be able to expand the horizons? It's like you look at your options in a way that perhaps other people would never expect it. I feel like you're the kind, let's say that you like to roller skate. Random, right? Or you like to go bowling or whatever your thing is. You're into BMX bikes, you're into skating, the skater life, you're into cutting hair, whatever your thing is. And then also you like to write, or you like to do poetry, you like to whatever. And it's like, well, those two don't go. The poetic skater, what? The poetic barista, the poetic, I don't know, barber, whatever your thing is. And yet you have this ability to integrate all things, because it's like you are very whole. You're not like fragmented, like these are compartments. I feel like you have this ability to bring them about together with grace, with efficiency, and this card flipped over and I had to look at it. I was drawn to it. It's the Eight of Pentacles. Let's just flip it right now. And I get like you have the ability to monetize almost anything. You just have to look at it long enough, hard enough, and wait for the right inspiration enough to know when the time comes to really deploy something that is going to be, I don't know, spectacular, unique. Yeah. I feel like you can get people excited about things that maybe have been status quo for a while and they're good enough, but you're like, nope, let's add a little bit of this. You know, that trend that's going on TikTok, that's been a trend for a long time. They're like, wow, most people think that I do this for a living. I make purses, but actually I add a little bit of this. And then all of a sudden it's like this like purse skull that's fully functional and that has like real, I don't know, real hair attached to it or something really different about it and vibrant, that it brings it back to the 3D and it levels it up in ways that nobody would have expected, right? Your creations. Let's just see what this is. What do people secretly admire about you but won't say? Yeah, I'm getting something with hair. I'm getting something with skin. You could have glass skin, glowy skin. Maybe perhaps you do the whole Korean skincare thing. I need to do that. I've been like, my heart wants to, but I've been found lacking. All right, moving on. Some of you guys like to put ice on your face. I actually love to put ice on my face. I know it sounds really weird, but it feels so good regardless of the weather. So some of you guys can do like these like cold plunges as well, those challenges. And some of you guys have like that bucket of water thing, not bucket, but that big thing of water or the tub of water, and you add ice to it and you do like the cold plunges in order to really regulate and reset your system and the whole 9 yards. It's so good and beneficial for many different reasons. Moving on. What do people secretly admire about you but won't say? The world. Well, this is like reiterating the World Wide Web. Maybe you are a jogger, a runner. Maybe you are a seamstress or somebody who works with like fabric, right? Maybe you have this niche where you create like shoes online or something like that. So maybe you perhaps have two-tone hair or split hair like that. Something about that as well. Maybe perhaps you have beautiful thick eyebrows. I'm not jealous. The Sharpie does miraculous. But also the fact that you are divinely protected. I feel like no matter what you do, where you go, like how many endings you achieve or like what you put an end to, it's like you have this ability to regenerate, to rejuvenate, and to really refresh not only yourself, your soul, your life, and perhaps even your products or the things that you work with, the things that you work on. But you have this ability to do that for your friendships, for humanity. Something about you is very humanitarian. Yeah, I'm getting like protector, but very different than pile number 2. So let's see where else this goes. What do people secretly admire about you, but won't say? Pile number 3. You have the blender. What? My heart in the blender. Isn't there a song that says that? Put my heart in a blender. Disruption, chaos, and change. Your routine is about to be blended. The new mixture will surprise even you. Yeah. Well, we've been talking about that. We've been talking about, how you have this ability to integrate, to blend things, to bring things together that you never thought would have been possible. And apparently, perhaps what people secretly admire about you but won't say is that maybe they can see, there's an element of stardom in you and about you and for you. And so I think that you have a new horizon opening up, maybe similar to pile number 2, actually, with a star-like quality. Maybe you're inventing like a new drink. You are putting something new on the market that is like, maybe it's an edible. I don't know your life, right? Maybe perhaps it's like a genuine, when I hear edible, I'm like, I get all excited and I'm like, oh, Chriselle, you don't smoke. And you definitely don't do the edibles of that kind, that variety. I think I'm like, oh my gosh, that cupcake looks fantastic. And they're like, yep, it's got this, that, and the other. And I'm like, oh, okay. So pile number 3, I definitely feel like you are not for everybody, but the people, it's like they're here for it. It's like people that are maybe even dislike you. They're drawn to you no matter what. It's almost like they want to lurk on your page. They want to be a looky-loo. And I always tell people, keep in mind that those people are views as well. So welcome, hater. Whatever, right? We don't care. Why? Because we're integrating energies. We're operating on higher purpose, and you are divinely guarded and protected. So no sweat off your brow, even if they're Sharpied like mine. Pile number 3. What do people secretly admire about you? But won't say is how you are protected. People don't understand like the things that you've gone through, how you've made it through every single safe haven. It's given me safe room. It's given me protección. It's given me how you are protected, even like in establishments like work and friends and whatever. Everything that you have is safeguarded and protected and even beautiful. And people could be looking at it's like, how do I get in that? How do I get into the inner sanctum, the inner circle? How do I become privy to that? Because I like that creative process and I would like that to be part of mine. I feel like also you are the pile that people secretly admire about you but won't say is that you have a lot of not only haters but people, and I know this is not positive, but listen to me, friend. Pile number 3, regardless, it is still misplaced love, right? This hate thing is misplaced opportunity. It is misplaced judgment. I feel like you are the person that really emotionally can stir the pot in people's hearts without even realizing it. You're not even having like a real encounter with them. They get convicted. Okay. Goodness. I'm like, do I share that? Sure. Once upon a time, let's do some oversharing right now. Once upon a time, I was sharing about my dating relationship at the time with my ex-husband. And we dated, held hands, did the whole traditional thing, through the church thing, whatever. And all of a sudden this person comes out and they're like, well, I'm sure you know that so-and-so and I are a couple. And it blew my mind because the age gap is wild. And it was nothing on my bingo card in a lifetime, let alone in that era. I was like, what are you talking about? And I feel like you could be somebody like that you bring out this like competitive quality, or they're comparing themselves, or it's almost like, where did that come from? You're like totally lambasted, and only to find out that they've been feeling convicted by you. And because you're authentic, you're operating in your authenticity. So that's here for someone. I don't know why I had to share that. Piggy bank. What? Restraint, willpower, and wealth. Yeah. True riches lie not in accounts, but will that reigns in greed. But will that reigns in greed? What? True riches lie not in accounts, but will that reigns in greed. I need a lexicographer to come on over and really help string this together for me, because I don't get it. I'm going to put this to the fact that like I don't understand it and whatever. But this piggy bank, I definitely feel like these qualities about you that people secretly admire but won't say is that maybe you have an ability to put forward like, and it's like, please deposit 25 cents on what is important. You have 25 cents left in your pocket. Let's say you're going to spend it on that one call that they're going to be worth it. They're going to be true and blue. They're going to be the one that you can rely upon. They're not going to be for the streets. They're not going to be somebody that you ended it with because they couldn't hold space for you or didn't understand you or didn't, what is that? Didn't vouch for you. Yeah, you could have been highly underestimated. Pile number 3, I feel, and I'm hearing actually that you are the black sheep. And what do people secretly admire about you but won't say is your ability to maybe even piggyback on other people. Okay, social media, for example. Like, I don't know what the correct term is, but when people utilize like other people's like reels and things like that, and then you tweak them and then you add your, like that Charlotte, whatever chick that all she does is shares like letters that other people have shared online or they've sent to her, whatever. And she like has this ability to make these expressive faces and laugh and weigh in on, whatever. And she covers all the, am I the a-hole if, blah, 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 blah. Well, you have this ability to set aside like a niche for yourself or whatever. But then all of a sudden everybody wants in on it. And I'm sure that when Charlotte started doing that, people were like, oh, that's dumb. Or, maybe you don't have the talent or whatever, but she does, obviously, clearly she does. And there are many different people out there that can do that. So maybe perhaps you piggyback in your social media, or this is a sign to you to go ahead and piggyback on your social media and allow things like that into, I don't know, your realm one way. Yeah. Also, what people admire about you, but they won't necessarily say. Yeah, they secretly admire, because that's the whole point, is your ability to save. Maybe you're a saver. Maybe you save the best for last. Maybe you save gifts and talents in order to bring them about in a whole different manner. Look at me. I am shedding hair of the dog. Maybe here's somebody here like woke up and had a whole thing and they have like a hair of the dog going on here. I don't know. You know what? I am not infallible. Been there, done that myself. Okay. But I feel like something about you saving, something about you having this ability to really even take that to the bank. Take that to the bank. You take your life lessons to the bank. You figure out how to utilize that in order to create power, to create fuel. I said fuel. Not bitterness, but I feel like fuel for yourself in order to compel you. You think about different ways, or maybe you get inspired, divine inspiration, in order to create something that you can take and bring into the world. And it is like, it comes full circle. It brings about a wholeness in you, an ability to really rise to the top, because I'm getting Wheel of Fortune with the world right here, World Wide Web. It gives you the ability to be a globetrotter is what I'm hearing. Maybe some of you guys are about to travel, and travel like for professionally. I don't know what that would look like. Maybe you could be like an influencer. I heard spinfluencer. You're welcome. So maybe you have this ability to spin your narrative to really romanticize your life, whatever this is, in such a manner, and it's not fake. It's such a manner that you view things so uniquely that other people go, wow, actually, that is kind of magic. It is kind of magic. You are magic. Pile number 3, because why? Because the trees said so. The trees where I live specifically had this like whole show for me to be able to really enjoy, and it's beautiful. Okay, moving on. Wild cards here for you, like we need them. Here we go. What do people secretly admire about you but won't say? Please don't forget to like, share, comment, like the video, hype the video. Yeah, I went there. Okay, moving on. Attachment style, dismissive, avoidant, avoids intimacy and vulnerability, guarded and closed off. So yeah, maybe you're a little bit self-protective, maybe you're guarded, maybe you're focused on work, solely around work, and you're giving your emotions to that. And people get a little bit confused. Grippy sock club member. With living to see another day. Yeah, seeing things in a whole different way. And, I've never been, grippy sock thing is all about like being in a mental institution. And I will never shade anybody for mental health. But the reason why it makes me giggle is that, apparently they give out these socks that actually grip the floor. And when those get, released into the wild, I will find them and I will wear them. A lot of them wind up being new in packs, and you can find at La Boutique, but whatever, do you. But this could have something to do with like you keep your sanity. You have this ability to keep your sanity in the middle of chaos, in the middle of things being in a blender, in a whirlwind, and things that maybe perhaps you haven't felt safe about that would have driven the normal person mad, the regular person mad, and we're all normal, whatever that means, right? But it would have maybe sent other people to the facility, the big house. No, that's jail, right? The second big house, the loony. like that. But I feel like you have this ability, this uncanny ability to work really hard and diligently in order to overcome any mental health issues, in order to really, I'm being led to share with you, there's this other creator that I follow online, and she starts off her videos with, I have schizophrenia, and, and she, whatever. And she'll be like, I have schizophrenia, and a lot of people, want to talk about what my husband has to say about it. So here's what he has to say. And she'll pan the camera over to the seat next to her, and there's nobody sitting there. And she just laughs. I feel like you have made, I don't know, you have made things acceptable. You have made things that have been painful, maybe, or even shamed within your family lineage, I'm hearing. And you've been able to convert that into monetary growth for yourself. You've been, you rolled up your sleeve, you dived into things in a deep manner in order to really, truly evolve this. And I don't feel like you set out to do this initially, but things have been in a blender. What is that song, you guys? Please put it down in the comments below so I can listen to it. Putting your heart in a blender. I don't even know what that is. I forget. But yeah, something about you that is very private that you've been able to really bring forward and really evolve. You caused a revolution, not only an evolution. After the evolution, you have revolutionized yourself, caused maybe yourself even like tower moments with this, I don't know, or other people tower moments, because maybe perhaps you are sharing in your experience with the public world, with the World Wide Web, right? And in turn, again, it caused another revolution. It's inspired people to do the same or similar, or take a page of encouragement out of your personal book. And it's incredibly powerful and beautiful. Pile number 3, captured by your Riz. What? Hell yeah, we are. Yes, we are. Is there more to say about that? No. You have made it through the wilderness. Madonna, chill. Yeah, like a virgin. Okay, moving on. Sometimes your blessings are withheld because you're in the wrong company, you guys. Read that again. Sometimes your blessings are withheld because you're in the wrong company. You're being protected, love. You have been divinely protected until such a time that you've been able to implement things from a place of strength, from a place of wisdom, that you're not going to throw more pearl into swine. You're not going to throw good money after bad. No. Yeah. Good money after bad money. You get the point. If I said it wrong, you know what my intentionality is going to weigh heavy for this. Okay. But I feel like people know this about you. And energetically, I mean, not only are you promising, you're the real thing. You're a star. I feel like you're a rising star. There's a lot hidden within you that is going to be coming out even more so than you ever thought. And maybe perhaps you've been like so self-protective. Yeah, with this thing guarded, dismissive, avoidant, like you fear intimacy, or you have feared intimacy. Like for vulnerable moment. Here we go. Everybody click off. You don't need to hear this. Anyways, but I do not get attached to people very easily. It takes a lot to get to what I call my inner sanctum. Why? For obvious reasons. I've had to be self-protected because exploitation, because usury, because liars, cheaters, and thieves, things, small things like that. But other than that, I'm great. So perhaps you have this dismissive, avoidant, and you avoid intimacy, like maybe on the 3D level. Maybe you are very careful with whom you choose your cups with, who you share your cups with, right? And I feel like you get captured. People get captured by your Riz because you are difficult to be had. Maybe perhaps you are like, if you are vulnerable with someone and they take advantage of you, or they exploit you, or they like hit it and quit it, or whatever your story is. I'm sorry to be so base about this, but here we are, right? In the 3D world, you and I, yes. I'm going to say that you are careful who you give your cups to, and very, very monitored and measured about what you give your cups about. Example would be, oh yeah, and you can share this if you think it would help somebody on a one-to-one. And then you're like, oh yeah, I can relate to that. And this is how I get my mojo, my inspiration, my whatever. But you're careful and you hand select. But when it comes to like maybe your emotions, your world, your things, your heart, you're very picky. It's like you can go to take that to the bank. Yeah. But you are safe. You're being told that you are safe. This is your narrative. I feel like maybe even love could be on the horizon for you. Maybe perhaps that's putting your heart on a blender. I'm gonna have to go look up these lyrics as soon as I click off here so that I know what is going on. And I have another majestic leaf dropping display. I don't know what to call it. Yeah. But you look at things so differently and people want to get in your brain. And ultimately they're like, I actually have feelings for pile number 3. And I feel like a lot of these people could develop feelings for you romantically that are not, they know, for example, it's not going to be reciprocated, but Spirit wants to tell you that you have been safeguarded, that blessings have been withheld monetarily, because maybe perhaps you had people in your life, in your circle, that were not meant to receive those blessings with you, that perhaps it would have been squandered on them. Perhaps they would have fed off of you, right? Or they would have like really served to put up walls and barriers where you don't need those walls and barriers because you're meant to come out more into the open. That's why this is being blended. We're going to open up the safe. We're going to blend it and put that in the piggy bank. That's what's up. I'm all smacking the flower. Yeah. School of Hard Knocks. So if that's you, I hope that you enjoyed your reading. Much, much love. Until next time, namaste.